That's a lot. We have
quite a bit to process here. We had 4 by 4 by 4 by 4 by 4 wide, 6 rows deep in stage 1, and they somehow didn't wreck each other. Then we had the biggest crash in NASCAR history. History was made today, ladies and gentlemen. History was made. Biggest wreck ever. And then just to top things off, we had a photo finish between Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Brad Keselowski. And once again, the damaged vehicle policy is controversial. We're going to get into that because it's reached a level of absurdity if it hadn't already. I guess I should get my computer ready. Get ready to talk about it. NASCAR at Talladega. NASCAR Cup Series. Always expect chaos when we head to Talladega, but oh my goodness. It was pretty tame for the most part, actually. As I said, we had some really, really intense racing. We had 4 by 4 by 4 for the lead, 4 wide. It was insane. The pictures are epic. It was maybe the most intense stage 1 in NASCAR history ever since we started doing stages, but it was great racing. It was super exciting, thrilling. I was holding my breath. I had to go to the bathroom for like the last 30 laps of stage 1, but I was like, I can't leave. This is too good. But anyways, then later on, we saw 2 wide, 3 wide, pit strategies, guys trying to shuffle their way through, coming out of the pits, different leaders throughout the day. I mean, I feel like the majority of the field led at one point in this race. I mean, obviously the winner, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Brad Keselowski, Chris Buescher won stage 1, Austin Cindric, I think, won stage 2. Bowman led some laps, I want to say. SVG led like 10 laps in this race. Chastain led laps. Cody Ware led laps. I mean, like, it was insane. Everything that happened today was insanity, but without really a lot of insanity. Like, we didn't really have a lot of incidents until the end of stage 2. We had an incident early on. Daniel Suarez just was getting lapped because he had a penalty before the race, and he was getting lapped, and, well, he wrecked himself. Like, no other way to put it. He's getting lapped. You're the only car lapped down, and he just takes himself out, and he was never a factor all day long. And then with about, well, actually, it wasn't about. It was 1 lap to go on the stage, coming through the tri-oval. Bowman gives Blaney a bad bump, and as a result, Ryan Blaney goes up and crashes. Ross Chastain, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, and Tyler Reddick are involved. Hamlin and Reddick, minimal damage. They were able to continue. Logano, they were able to repair it. It was minimal damage at the end of the day, but they had to work on it a little bit more than Reddick and Hamlin. Blaney, though, was done. Thankfully for Blaney, though, he collected stage points in stage 1, and they crashed so far into the tri-oval. While his car was getting destroyed, he was actually able to collect a couple of stage points while his car was destroyed. He was really mad at Alex Bowman after the race, and honestly, I hope he looks at the replay. It was just a normal superspeedway thing. Bowman got bumped into him. He hit him at the wrong angle, and Blaney crashed. Major playoff implications until late. 4 laps to go. As I said, this race had been pretty tame. We probably had 30-plus cars on the lead lap. Only a couple cars out of this race due to incident. Chastain and Blaney. Then it happened. They went to lap Todd Gilliland. Todd Gilliland didn't do anything wrong. It's just that when they were trying to get all re-racked on the bottom row, they started accordioning the accordion effect. That's a better way to put it. Someone hits someone, who hits Logano, who hits Cindric, or who hits Keselowski, and Keselowski hits Cindric at a bad angle, and that was it. That was it. 28 cars involved. It almost wiped out the entire field. 28 out of the remaining 38 cars were involved in this wreck. At least 5 of them were out of the race. Another few were heavily damaged and could continue, but controversially so. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh my goodness, massive shakeup. You look at the playoff cutoff line before that wreck, Denny Hamlin was like minus 15. It shifted from like minus 15 to minus 10, depending on who was leading. But Denny Hamlin goes from that, and he ends up plus 30. Like, it was a massive playoff implications, like just complete tide shift of Not just this race, the championship, the NASCAR Cup Series championship had a major shift because of one wreck that involved 28 cars. 28 cars were involved in this wreck. And then after the wreck, we had to talk about this. I've avoided talking about it because I just assumed we would never see it come into effect at the championship. They changed the rule in the offseason. We never focused on it again. At Watkins Glen, Ryan Blaney was involved in a wreck on lap number 1. He thinks he can drive it back to the pits. He has flat tires. And with this next-gen car, when your tires are flat, your car gets stuck. It cannot move because of the way the car is designed, the tires go flat. You can't move. Or if you can move, you just drag the bottom of the car. It completely destroys the floor. And the car is very, very aerodynamically sensitive on the bottom of the car, on the floor. And you don't want to tear it up. So you need a push, you need a tow truck, you need something. Well, Ryan Blaney, after his car could have been okay, they tow him to the garage. And NASCAR's policy is, if you get towed to the garage, you're done for the day. You cannot come back. That's it. Ryan Blaney ends up advancing out of that round, so, not all was lost. But then last week at Kansas, Josh Berry not in the playoffs, not in the championship fight, but it is Stewart-Haas Racing's final year, trying to get some good results. Josh Berry spins on lap number 1. Just spins. He got clipped in the rear, but no damage, no visible damage, honestly. No major damage, nothing terminal not barely cosmetic. He just spun around a few times after getting clipped. No damage of any sort. And he had flat tires, and he couldn't move the car. NASCAR towed him behind the fence. They did not push him back to his pit stall. They did not tow him back to his pit stall. They just took him behind the fence, and he was done. Nothing he could do about it. No damage on this race car. But because he had four flat tires and they didn't take him back to his pit stall, he's done. Out of the race. And it sparked a lot more controversy. Rodney Childers, the crew chief of the number 4 car, was very vocal. Josh Berry was vocal. A lot of other people talked about it. And yeah, it makes no sense. You have 6 minutes. If you get taken back to your pit stall, you have 6 minutes to fix the car. If you can't fix the car in 6 minutes, you're out of the race. How do they define the car is fixed? There's a minimum speed. But anyways, Josh Berry's done, and he's upset, rightfully so. He didn't even complete a lap, and he could have completed the whole race if they didn't drag him behind the fence after a simple spin. Well, then this happens. This massive, historic wreck happens. The whole freaking field is out, and we've got about 10 cars sitting in the infield. Some of them, like Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, Chase Briscoe, are playoff drivers, but also Chase Elliott's car was destroyed. That car was junked. Chase Briscoe had a good amount of damage. Joey Logano had a ton of damage, and Logano ended up getting out of his car. His car was done. Cindric was done. Chase Briscoe didn't have as much damage, but they were told, the crew chief, Richard Boswell, he was told by the managing director, I think it's the manager or the director of competition for NASCAR, he was told by Brad Moran that they were allowed to get towed to their pit stall and fix the car. And that if anyone tried to take the window net down, which that is a sign of surrender, that means you're out of the race. Chase Briscoe was told, do not let them do it. Hold on to that window net. Do not let them take it down. And they brought him back to his pit stall. And he had more damage than Josh Berry last week. And it does not help that another playoff driver, Chase Elliott, his car was destroyed. Front end of that car, gone. Destroyed. They ended up having to jump on it, put so much tape on it just to survive the last handful of laps of this race. And Chase Elliott gets a push back to his stall. So what's the difference between Josh Berry last week, who did a simple spin, no damage done, and Chase Elliott, whose car is absolutely junked? NASCAR, this is a judgment call. NASCAR determines if your car is too damaged and you don't get to come back. It makes no sense. The damaged vehicle policy has never made sense. It's broken. It's more broken than it ever was. I expect a change in the offseason, but the fact that we have to talk about it, it is NASCAR's most important time of the year. It is the time we crown a champion, and we are talking about a damaged vehicle policy. It's silly. It's dumb. It's a conversation that should not be had at this time of year at all, really, but if they implement a new rule, give it a couple months, and blah, blah, blah. But this time of year, year 3 on this car, Should not be a discussion. Major changes need to be made. It's silly. It's a horrible call. It's stupid. The damaged vehicle policy is broken. It's been broken, but this just re-emphasized how broken it was. Then we go to finish the race. And my first thought is, oh my goodness, there's no way this is happening. Kyle Larson survived the big one. For those of you who don't know, Kyle Larson gets involved in every single wreck at Talladega and Daytona. Well, Kyle Larson survived, but I just wanted to bring that up. But no, it was a battle between non-playoff drivers, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who has not won since the 2023 Daytona 500, and Brad Keselowski, who just got eliminated from the playoffs a couple weeks ago, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. from Olive Branch, Mississippi, won by 6/1000ths of a second. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., it's career win number 4, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong there. It's his second ever win with JTG Daugherty. Big win for them. Big win for that team. It's just obviously it's been a while since they've won. Another winless streak has been snapped in 2024. But also just Ricky Stenhouse Jr. mentioned it. He said that Brad Daugherty had some family that was impacted by the hurricane that did all that damage in North Carolina, Western North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, parts of Virginia too, I believe. So he said that Brad Daugherty, who's one of the co-owners of JTG Daugherty, that he had a family out there and that they were dealing with that. So he wasn't able to be at the track, but they were thinking of them. So that's a really big victory for them from that emotional aspect, but also just JTG Daugherty. They don't have a lot of wins. They don't compete for them a lot. So when they get them, it is a really, really big deal. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. climbed the catch fence up into the flag stand. Very dangerous. Did the air Stenhouse. Very impressive. But, oh my goodness. This finishing order here. I will never read this finishing order again. Technically that's true of every finishing order. But you will never see such a combination of drivers in the order that they are in. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is your winner. As I said, huge win for him, huge win for JTG. No, they're not in the playoffs, but a NASCAR Cup Series win is a NASCAR Cup Series win, and to do it at one of NASCAR's most historic racetracks, to get another Superspeedway win, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., his 4th Superspeedway win. All of his wins have come at Superspeedways. It shows that he knows what he's doing at these racetracks. We've always known it, but Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has done it again at a Superspeedway. He picks up another win. Great day for him. Great day for that team. Brad Keselowski led a couple of laps today, was oh so close to getting another win with himself and RFK. Obviously eliminated from the playoffs prematurely, would have wanted to go further, but a win could have helped heal some of those wounds. Ends up coming short. He got that win with Chris Buescher as his driver a couple of weeks ago. Keselowski comes up just short of his 7th Talladega win. 3rd place, William Byron advances in the playoffs. We'll talk about the bubble later, do a mini bubble breakdown. But William Byron scored the most stage points today. Finished 3rd, survived the biggest wreck in NASCAR history, and he has advanced to the round of 8. He did everything he needed to short of a win. So great job by William Byron and the 24 team. Kyle Larson 4th. Am I reading that right? There's no way. There's no way. Kyle Larson finished 4th at a super speedway? He didn't have any damage on it? He wasn't involved in an incident? Are the end times near? Is it? Is the apocalypse happening yet? No? No, this really happened. Oh my goodness. Wow. But yeah, Kyle Larson 4th. How about that? Kyle Larson, he can run up front at these super speedways, but as I said, he always gets involved in someone else's stuff. He always gets involved in a wreck, or every once in a while, like Atlanta, he kind of wrecks himself. Anyways, Kyle Larson won, he didn't win the race, but a top 5 that's a win for him. I think they're in a really good points position. I'll correct you later if I'm wrong. Eric Jones with a top 5. Legacy Motor Club has had a horrendous year this year, and with Jimmy Johnson in attendance, the team owner, Eric Jones survives the carnage and gets a top 5. Great day for him. Great day for Legacy Motor Club. They did things right today. They really did. They survived. That's ultimately what they do. This is going to be their best chance at a competitive finish with how bad they've been this year, and they survived. They did what they were supposed to. Christopher Bell, 6th, another great points day for him. He survives the carnage, survives the chaos. Great job by him. We'll look at the points later once again. Justin Haley, 7th, a top 10 in only his second race back with Spire Motorsports. Great, fantastic day for him. Led a couple laps in this thing. Let's see if I got the number here. He led 4 laps today, in fact. 8th place, Austin Dillon. Sorry, this thing's glitching out on me. Great day for Austin Dillon. I think he led a couple laps. I'm trying to find the laps led, but it won't let me stay on the laps led category. It's very annoying. All right, I got what I needed. But Austin Dillon finishes in 8th place. He did lead a lap today. Great job by him. Good finish for him. 9th place, Bubba Wallace. Good day by him. He led a few laps in this thing. 10th place, Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin, it was looking like it was going to be another disastrous day. The last month has been terrible for Denny Hamlin. Outside of the top 5 at Bristol, I can't think of a single bright spot for him. They wrecked Atlanta after sitting in the back all day. Watkins Glen, they were irrelevant. Kansas, they scored a top 10, which was good, but that's a track we expect Hamlin to be competing for the win at, so that's technically a disappointment. And it looked like it was going to happen again. 4 laps to go. Denny Hamlin sitting somewhere in the 20s or 30s, and he's minus 15 to the cutoff line, and the strategy paid off this time. He sits back to avoid the wreck, and, well, the biggest wreck in NASCAR history happens, and Denny Hamlin is there to pick up the pieces and get a top 10. He now is sitting pretty heading into the round of 8. Martin Truex Jr., 11th, spun on pit road at one point. Cody Ware with a top 15. Good for him. He actually led one lap in this race. He led a lap in this race. Really good for Cody Ware. Ty Gibbs, Carson Hocevar, Shane Van Gisbergen was in the top 5 for a good portion of this race. Finished 4th in stage 2. Led 9 laps in this race. The Superspeedways are, I hate to say easiest, but that is like the most adaptable, I guess, oval in NASCAR. This is when we see anyone can run up front, anyone kind of can win. As I'm saying with some of these names, I mean, look at this. 24 of the 40 drivers today led a lap. Like, this is the most adaptable type of NASCAR racing where anyone can lead, anyone can get up front, you can learn, you can get experience at the front, middle, or back of the pack. Well, Shane Van Gisbergen, a great learning opportunity today. Leads 9 laps, finishes 15th. I believe that's his first oval top 15 in the Cup Series, at least. Correct me if I'm wrong there. Great day for him, though, nevertheless. Alex Bowman, 16th. He scored a stage point, 1 singular. Buescher, 17th. LaJoie, 18th. A double top 20 for Rick Ware Racing. Kyle Busch, 19th, got shuffled out of line there on the last lap. 20th, Tyler Reddick. He was involved in that big one. 21st, Zane. Assume everyone from here on down was involved in the big wreck. I missed a couple already, I'm sure. Zane Smith, it's a top 25 for BJ McLeod. Get loud for McLeod, ladies and gentlemen. Todd Gilliland, 23rd, was in contention for this win until a speeding penalty hit him, and then he was involved in that wreck. Anthony Alfreda, Noah Gragson, Daniel Suarez. Worst possible day. He starts the day at the tail of the field because they got tossed because of an illegal change to the car. So they have to drop to the rear of the field, and they have to serve a pass-through penalty, and as a result, they lose the draft. And as a result, they get lapped on lap 10. And then Daniel Suarez decides to make a terrible decision, and he decides to try to blend with cars going 10 to 15 miles an hour faster than him. As a result, he wrecks himself and also tried to wreck BJ McLeod. And Suarez went a lap down. He was pinned a lap down most of the day. He finally got it back, but it wasn't enough. 26th. 27th, J.J. Yeley. 27th, J.J. Yeley. How about that for NY Racing? 28th, A.J. Allmendinger led 9 laps in this race. Really good day all around for Colleague in the Cup Series. They led 18 laps here. Hemrick led 1, so 19 laps. Good day for them, despite the not-so-exciting finishes. Chase Elliott and Chase Briscoe. So these two got extremely lucky today. They were involved in that big wreck, and they should have finished down there with Cindric and Logano. They should have lost a couple more positions maybe. But man, they got lucky that they were towed back to pit road. I think they would have been in the 30s versus 29th and 30th. So they got lucky, but they're in different situations. Once again, we'll look at the bubble later. John Hunter Nemechek, Austin Cindric had a great day, led 29 laps, won a stage, got stage points, did everything they could, but the problem was that they were in such a points deficit that they didn't have to win, but they had to finish good. Joey Logano, Harrison Burton, Ryan Preece, Josh Berry, Michael McDowell, Daniel Hemrick, Ryan Blaney. We already talked about Ross Chastain. Let's look at this bubble. Here is your bubble breakdown, or your mini bubble breakdown. We'll do a full bubble breakdown tomorrow on the Monday after. William Byron's advanced. He can wreck on lap 1. He's through. Doesn't matter what anyone else does. Christopher Bell, he's basically through. Like, almost like after stage 1 next week, he'll probably be through. Same situation for Kyle Larson. It would take a literal apocalypse for them to miss. Denny Hamlin at plus 30, sitting very pretty heading into the Roval. Not the greatest road racer, but plus 30 is a nice gap. Alex Bowman plus 26, good gap for him. Same situation for Blaney. Tyler Reddick plus 14, Chase Elliott plus 13. Their big thing, they have a good gap because they are both really good road course racer, but the problem is if someone below the line wins, but personally, I don't anticipate that. Joey Logano, the elimination death ghost thingy is at your doorstep. Like, Joey Logano's not a great road course racer. Minus 13 on Chase Elliott and Tyler Reddick. Oof, tough scene. Suarez not technically in a must-win, but basically Cindric, Briscoe, must-win. Yeah, as I said, pretty simple bubble breakdown there. So, thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Chaotic day at Talladega, the biggest wreck in NASCAR history. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. wins in a photo finish, which we're barely talking about because we had the biggest wreck in NASCAR history. Major playoff implications happened. The DVP policy strikes again. We'll talk about it all on the Monday after tomorrow. We will do our normal live stream. I'm looking forward to it. Hope you can make it to that. Thank you again for watching this video. And I will see you guys tomorrow for the Monday after.